in his world, Sharkman is a superhero. In our world, not so much. Welcome to Happy Suffer.
I don't think that's
What?
true.
Sharkman fancies himself a superhero.
Is is Sharkman aware that he is a Sharkman?
I believe so.
Is comic book Sharkman canon?
King Shark is a
Yeah.
real thing.
I don't know that anyone
But in the
would
world
ever,
of the movie?
no, I don't know that anyone would ever put him up as a superhero though.
I would.
Let's see.
I mean, yeah, but
I'm looking up as King Shark in the Sharkman universe.
I'm gonna get a full back tattoo of Sharkman.
oh my god. He's I think he's kind of cool looking. He's very ridiculous.
He's very handsome.
He's got brows for days. That brow ridge he's got going on is very chiseled.
This is episode 210 of Happy Suffer. My name is Whale Man. I don't know. I was trying to think
Just
of
said
an
whale
animal.
wolf.
I was trying to think of an animal, and the only thing those are the only two animals I could think of was whale and wolf. So, whale.
I'm William Forsythe.
I'm I'm Katie.
Katie Man.
I was trying to think of a different way to say Sharkman, but like it doesn't really, because otherwise it's just like Mark if you try and flip it the other way. And as I've discussed, I don't care for Mark.
Wait, why is it Mark if you flip it the other way?
Because it's like Sharkman, but then if you're trying to do Man Shark, but then you flip it, it's like Mark. Mahark.
I'm not awake enough for this conversation. I guess if you couldn't tell by now, we watched not Sharkman from a year that I don't have pulled up.
2005.
2001.
We watched
2001?
2007
Oh, I heard
Sharkman, the
2001.
90-minute documentary about the guy that hypnotizes sharks.
It premiered on Sci-Fi in 2005.
Sharkman?
Yeah.
Weird.
Well, I don't know.
Maybe they just shelved it for 4 years.
And
well-
then re-released it as Hammerhead Shark Frenzy.
There's a Sharkman and Hammerhead on Letterboxd. But
Yeah.
Hammerhead doesn't show it streaming on Tubi, but has the right cast. But Sharkman shows it streaming on Tubi. It just has like five
nobody.
people I've
Yeah.
never heard of in the cast. But all the reviews are for like the Jeffrey Combs movie. This is strange. And they have different.
Yeah, and then
directors.
the poster, it also just says Hammerhead. Half man, half shark. Total terror.
Well, the poster looks more like what's in the movie, and Sharkman does not.
Sharkman, and so like if you look it up on Tubi, and you look it up as Sharkman, like this is the poster that comes up, and it doesn't. It's like a man, and then they just like
Sharked him.
made his ear really small, and then made his mouth big. Yeah, like he like retains still some human features, which actual Sharkman Paul does not. and you've reviewed both of them, so I'm not really sure.
What's this like?
You gave them different reviews.
Yeah, I mean, my reviews change sometimes on rewatches. Because I went to rate this one on Sharkman, and I was like, I thought I'd watched this since I had Letterboxd, but...
Yeah, Sharkman says 2001. Hammerhead says 2005. So who knows? It's a mystery.
I trust Hammerhead Shark Frenzy over Sharkman because it's a worse name.
Well, yeah, who knows? I don't know. I don't know how this happened. Somebody tell us.
Like, even
what happened?
Even under the alternative names, it's got Sharkman twice under Hammerhead. Like, I don't understand why they're both on here.
Well,
what a fucking... Come on, Letterboxd. Doing me dirty. Yeah, so we watched one of those two movies. You guys could try and figure it out if you want. One of them's good, one of them's not. Guess which is which.
It's Hammerhead Shark Frenzy.
That, like... that name also isn't totally correct, because I feel like he doesn't really go on a frenzy very much.
Yeah, and he's not technically a hammerhead shark, because he's a shark man.
Yeah. It should have been called...
Hammerman. Shark Attack.
It should have been Hammerhead Shark Frenzy, and it's just a guy throwing hammers and sharks at people.
Yeah. Hammer Frenzy Shark Man.
We'll make a movie called Hammerhead Frenzy. It's just a guy throwing hammers at people's heads.
I like
people with hammers for heads.
So the hammers just hit them in the head, and it's like nothing happened.
Wow.
Have we all seen this before?
I think so.
I've seen it several times.
I couldn't remember if Katie had actually seen it or not.
Yeah, so I picked this movie because I watched it probably like 4 or 5 years ago for the first time. And I have to say, I remembered it being a lot dumber and wackier than like I thought it was this watch. But I think obviously the amount of terrible shit that I've watched since this has like changed my opinion on what is a bad movie or not, because I remember at the time like thinking that this was like the most insane movie I'd ever seen, and I was like, it like cracked me up. Then I watched it this time and I'm like, yeah, it is pretty goofy. Whenever they have like the CG man shark, it doesn't look very good, and it's like one of those movies where it's hard to tell what's happening sometimes because it's just like a CG guy, you know what I mean? But like it wasn't really that goofy. I was like, all right, I'm kind of into it. Like,
nah, it's back when like sci-fi was making what they called real movies, like
right.
Cinema.
This was around the same time as like King Cobra and stuff. The Sharknado hadn't happened yet, and they hadn't fucking lost their minds completely.
I was gonna say, this is before Sharknado, where everything was just the same awful fucking movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back when they tried.
It's totally fine. Like, I need more Sharkman in it.
Yeah, I was reflecting, and I was like, I remember a lot more Sharkman and a lot less fumbling through the woods, but I don't know.
I feel like even if there should be more Sharkman, there's more Sharkman than what you usually would get in this kind of movie.
Yeah.
Because you kind of see him pop in and out throughout the film instead of waiting, for the last 5 minutes. And it's like, aha, here he is.
I think if they just had like a more like enthusiastic cast as opposed to like William Forsythe.
Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah, Jeffrey Combs is like doing the most, and everyone else is just there getting their paycheck.
Like, pretty much, yeah. Listening to William Forsythe call somebody baby the entire movie made me want to throw up. I was like, I do not believe this is a relationship at all.
He was not giving it his all.
Yeah, I'm not convinced
No.
if this character's ever kissed a woman.
I haven't
Also-
seen a ton of William Forsythe, but that was easily the least he's ever given a shit about anything.
He did more in fucking Rob Zombie's Halloween than this. Oh god,
Yeah,
he's in
he
a
had,
Roe
like-
versus Wade movie
Ew. Don't like that. Yeah, he had like
with
no
Joey Lawrence and
emotion.
Jamie Kennedy. What the fuck is happening? Oh no, this
No,
is
thank
definitely
you.
not. This has got John Voight. This has got to be not good. And Stacey Dash. And
That sounds
Corbin
like-
Burnson. This is Mike Lindell. No. Is William
That sounds-
Forsythe? Fuck. Oh god, Roger Stone and Milo Yiannopoulos is in this too, and Tommy Lord. I think William Forsythe
just-
might be a bad person.
It just keeps getting worse the more people you name.
The top review: the most anti-Semitic movie ever made that is not explicitly Nazi propaganda.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
That's really saying something.
I don't. I feel like William Forsythe might not be great.
Disappointed
Or
that Corbin
literally
Burnsen's
will
in
just
there.
come do. Well, Corbin Burnson lost his goddamn mind a while ago. That's like all he does now is like those like Kirk Cameron movies and shit.
Oof. I mean,
We'll
I
make
try
Shane
not to
watch
judge
this
a
movie
book
for
by
us.
his cover, but William Forsythe does not look like a person that would be a good guy.
Yes.
I think I'm
correct.
only really like familiar with him from like Rob Zombie's fucking shitty movies. That checks out. I'm sure I've seen other things, but like that's the thing that like pops into mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like Corbin Burnson's in Judgment with Mr. T. This is a Christian movie and a God's Club and something called Love's Complicated, which I'm assuming is Lifetime. Why are these people the worst?
Do you know why? Do you want to know what I recognize William Forsythe from? He is in a movie based off of like one of my favorite books that's about John Wayne Gacy called Dear Mr. Gacy, and he plays John Wayne Gacy. So that definitely
That makes
checks
sense.
out.
Very strange
Yeah.
casting. I've seen a couple movies he's in, but like I don't know if I could tell you what he played in any of these except for the Rob Zombie ones. Like, because he's in The Rock and Raising Arizona,
The Substitute.
Dick Tracy,
Larva.
Virtuosity.
Larva rips.
Yeah, Larva.
That's
Has
the one
a,
I'm thinking of.
Larva has a
Does he play
poster
the
that looks
lava?
like it rips.
It does, yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, that's the larva I was thinking of. Rips.
He's
A
in.
plus.
He's also in A Christmas Cop.
Of course he is.
What?
It's Christmas Eve in Oslo, Norway, and Vigilante Cop. Nils Skrugesson is in no mood to celebrate, and you can take that to the bank. Tell
And
me
I
anything
will.
about what this top writer Charles Dickinson.
Okay.
The movie
Look,
doesn't.
Yeah,
Charles
sure.
Dickens.
This movie doesn't even have a director listed.
Ooh. Yoicks.
What a filmography. Alright, well, this is the William Forsythe cast. Signing off.
I don't. Unfortunately, we have to talk about him throughout a whole movie, but then I would like to not talk about him anymore.
Do we know? He
Yeah.
doesn't really do much.
Yeah. Okay, so. Yeah, okay, so like I said, when I first saw this was probably one of the first, like, quote-unquote, bad movies that I watched. I mean, obviously I watched a lot of bad things, but this was, like, one that stood out in my mind as, like, a fun one. And like I said, it's not as goofy as I remember it being, but, like, I don't know. The idea behind it is just insane. Jeffrey Combs, I think, is... Aside from my thing with this is like, there's a Sharkman, right? It's called Sharkman Metalhead Frenzy, and whatever. And
Did you say
it's like a
Sharkman
mix-
Metalhead Frenzy?
Yeah. It's like a mix between like terrible CGI shark, and then also they have a puppet, and they show the puppet like, I think they have more than one puppet, because they show there's like a large part where people are like walking around the forest and he's just like glaring, but we see just like one of his eyes glaring, and then there's like the puppet they have when he's like a full body puppet that they just like throw in the water and it like floats there or whatever. And so I don't, because like you can tell towards the end of the movie that it's a puppet, that a guy is like in the suit, and I don't know why they didn't just like use the puppet the whole time, because I think that would have been awesome. It's the CG part
That's perfect.
that's just like, but it's like kind of hard to describe like what the Sharkman looks like, because it's like if you took a hammerhead shark, but then if it was like, oh shit, what are they called?
People.
I forget the word for it, but there's like it starts with an A, but it's like when people take
Apples.
It's not furries, but it's like when people take animals and make them like humans. Maybe it starts with a J.
Anthropomorphic.
Yeah, there's like another. Well, so anyways, so it's like if you took a
Animatronic.
Autoerotic.
Animated.
Anal.
It's like
Yeah, there we go. We got to it.
Nailed it. High fives all around. Forsyth cast.
Terrible.
We can call ourselves the Forecast.
Scythecast. Everyone
hate
thinks
it.
we're just talking about the fucking farmer's tool.
The weather. The Farmer's Almanac.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like if you took a hammerhead shark but made him anthropomorphic, so he has arms and legs but still a shark tail, and then his head is shaped like a hammerhead. So he's got like eyeballs on the side of his head, and he's got like sharp teeth or whatever. And so like really the only thing that looks human about him at all is that he's got like arms and legs, but they're like sharky. All right. So
Nail it.
yes. This movie starts out on an uncharted island in the Western Pacific, whatever that means. There are some people on a boat, and they're going to jump off of the boat into the water and race each other to shore. But then some kind of thing that looks like a shark gets them and eats them. Now we're at a lab, and there's some scientists doing tests, and one of them is saying that the treatment isn't working. But despite this, this guy immediately puts his hand into the tank where the Sharkman is and gets his fingers chomped off. So that kind of seems like a you're bad, because you just said that he's more shark than human, and you're going to stick your fingers in his water? I don't think so.
Scientists are very smart, if these movies have taught me anything.
No. So, yeah, he's not. Because then he also goes around the rest of the movie with, like, the bloodiest bandage I've ever seen. I'm like, bro, take care of that. And then this is when Jeffrey Combs shows up, and I, for the whole movie, will refer to him as Jeffrey Combs. Also, I just called William Forsythe. So it's going to be a lot. It's a mouthful. Jeffrey Combs says that he, aka the Sharkman, is responding to the treatment, and everything is going well, so he's going to send invitations. So now we cut to Amelia Lockhart, who is a biologist, and she is dating William Forsythe, and I don't think I was familiar with the actress, but you could not have picked two people to play a couple that I would not believe you ever. And again, he's calling her baby the whole movie, and it's not, I don't care for it. And so Amelia goes to talk to like her boss.
Both of their acting, they act like they just met and despise each other.
Yeah. like, yeah, but then they have to pretend like they're dating.
It rules.
One of my favorite gags in this movie is that, like, he always says he loves her, and she does not respond. Not one time.
Because she loves Paul.
Paulman.
Paul Sharkman.
Yeah, so she goes to talk to her
Better
research-
call Paul
her boss.
Sharkman.
Yeah,
I watched that show.
I would watch that. I would watch it. Sharkman lawyer, or he's a lawyer, right?
Some kind of attorney or something.
Yeah.
Damn, fucking Steven Kostanski
Paul Sharkman,
apparently
attorney at law.
did makeup for The Boys season 3.
Who did?
Oh, nice.
Steven Kostanski.
That's what's finally gonna get me to watch that show.
I think I'm just waiting for it to get canceled, and then I'm just gonna binge through the whole thing. Because I'm interested, but I'm also like, I don't know, I can't. I feel like what's gonna happen is I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna love it, and then I'm gonna have to wait a fucking year for like a new season. I'll just wait till it's done and just go through the whole thing.
Yeah. I hate waiting for stuff.
Yeah. Stuff and waiting's the worst.
Yeah. So
Things,
Amelia's a
though,
biologist.
Things are pretty cool.
She goes to talk to her boss about the research that Jeffrey Combs is doing, and it has something to do with stem cells, and she has to go, like, to his compound to, like, check out the science and see if the science is, like, legit. So, she goes, and we get the sense her boss makes some kind of comment like, I know that there's something between you guys, but that's in the past or some shit. So she's got some beef with Jeffrey Combs. So she doesn't want to see him, of course. So to blow off steam, she goes swimming. And then her boyfriend, William Forsythe, is like, what's the deal with Jeffrey Combs? And she's like, she basically just says that she used to be engaged to his son, Paul, who died of cancer 5 years ago. And that's like all she says, which doesn't really explain why she's mad with Jeffrey Combs at all, but fine. Then there's just like, we get a lot of voiceovers of Jeffrey Combs kind of like doing like a voice diary for his like science or whatever. So there's a lot of like voiceovers about like what he's doing and whatever. And he's basically talking about how his research with the stem cells will help people like overcome diseases and stuff. And while this is happening, they have this like girl that they are releasing into some sort of habitat, and then she gets eaten by the Sharkman. And basically he explains that he's trying to get the Sharkman to reproduce because he is deteriorating or something, and he wants to make shark human babies. That's like his ultimate goal.
Isn't that everyone's?
Yeah. So so he's like bummed because he wants the shark to like mate with that girl, but instead he just eats her. And then this lady scientist comes up and is like, "Doctor, the girl's ready." And then he goes downstairs and they basically perform a C-section on a woman and pull out a fucking huge shark human baby. This thing is like
lumpy.
The size of a toddler. It's fucking huge. And it's gross because it's like flesh colored still, but it has like big, huge shark eyes. And I don't know if it's supposed to be alive or not. But there it is. Looks incredible. So
I bet it smells weird.
Yeah, I would think so.
Probably not great, I would assume. It's like that whole science lab probably doesn't smell great.
Yeah. So Amelia, William Forsythe, and 4 other people, one of which is like her boss, Feder, his girlfriend, who is like 30 years younger than him, and then 2 other people. One is named Jane. I don't know what the other guy's name is. They take a boat going to Jeffrey Combs's like Science Island, and she tells them about how like Jeffrey Combs's like science is that he's experimenting with like cross species breeding, and then one of them is like, "I hope you mean animals." So they arrive at the island. Jeffrey Combs and Amelia are like immediately awkward about each other, and basically they all just like introduce themselves and get a tour of the island. And everyone is going to like have a dinner celebration on the beach, and it's like a big luau, and basically they're like they're talking about how weird the island is because there's like guards everywhere, and Jane has this like huge satellite phone that's supposed to work from everywhere, but it doesn't work at all because there's like jammers or whatever. And then somehow the least weird thing is that the dinner, like the thing that they're being served at the luau is a 3-eyed pig.
Yeah, that third eye adds a lot of extra flavor.
Yeah, say, have you not had that before? What do you think the chicken nuggets at Burger King are made out of?
Pig eyeballs.
Just 3-eyed pigs.
They shove the third eye inside of the pig, so it's like a king cake. You know, you find the baby,
yeah,
you find the eyeball.
You have to eat your way to the eyeball.
That's gross. Ew. No thank you for me. I'll have extra.
I won it one year.
Potatoes instead. Yeah. You want to try it just one time.
That's what we're getting Kit for his 40th.
Just
a reason.
I gotta survive. I gotta survive 7 more years.
A reason to stay alive. Look, if there's going to be any reason, it's going to be to find that third eye.
Well, a pretty good one.
So they're just chilling. There's like fireworks and stuff. For some reason, there's a bunch of randos at this like party too that are swimming in the water while everyone else is partying, and they get eaten by the shark man. So now we switch to the conference room where Jeffrey Combs is like putting on his presentation, and he says that sharks. I don't know what that came from. Sharks cannot get cancer, and also that nobody knows how old sharks can get, and then therefore his research is basically splicing shark DNA with human stem cells or something. And the way that he was able to achieve doing this is that he just made a better microscope.
That's all it takes.
Science.
Scientist is only as good as his tools.
He's like, so the reason that we haven't been able to... So basically they're saying that they're trying to use stem cells to like activate specific cells in the human body to like do the things that they want it to do. And it's been unpredictable because you can't control what the cells do or what they turn into or something, because you can't see DNA strands close enough to like splice them or something. And she's like, well, how did you do it? And he's like, I made a stronger microscope. And I was like, okay, I'm all right, sure. And so
more microscope, more microscopic.
Yes. With this better microscope, he's able to see the DNA closer so he can splice in shark DNA. And he did it on his son Paul, and it cured his cancer. And Amelia is like freaking out because she used to be engaged to Paul, as we said, and she thinks that he died of cancer 5 years ago. And Jeffrey Combs is now saying, just kidding, he didn't actually die. I did this experiment on him, and he's alive. Like, not only was he cured, but he's alive. And Jeffrey Combs reveals to everybody that Paul is now the Sharkman, which obviously we already spoiled because I kept calling him Paul in the beginning. So
Paul Sharkman.
That's the grand reveal. Paul Sharkman. And he reveals, he like pulls the window open and there's like a tank with the Sharkman, and Sharkman's like, or whatever, you know, he's a shark. He's a hammerhead Sharkman swimming around. And everyone's like, oh my god. And Feder is like, you're a madman. And everyone's freaking out, right? And so Jeffrey Combs is essentially just like, you motherfuckers tried to steal my research, you kicked me out of the lab, and now I sentence you to death. Sorry, Amelia, I didn't know you were going to be here. And then he leaves, and they lock them in this room that starts filling up with water. And at first, they're kind of freaking out, because the room's filling with water. And then they're just like, oh, no, it's fine. Like, open the floodgates even more, because there's randomly a ladder mounted to the wall halfway up. So if we flood the room halfway, we can swim up, climb up the ladder, and then escape through a vent fan that's in the wall or whatever. So
foolproof.
This scene is
absolutely foolproof.
I mean, yeah, the scene is like really chaotic for no reason, because, like, I guess I don't know. They're just like, hurry, hurry! Oh my God, get up, hurry! And they're like screaming, hurry, hurry! And I'm like, I think you have time. Like, you're fine. Just chill. So everyone else is swimming over to the ladder to like escape, right? William Forsythe swims under the water and gets a shotgun. I don't know why there's a shotgun down there, but there is. And then he comes up and shoots the fan out of the wall while everyone's screaming, shoot it, shoot the fan, shoot it, shoot it. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up, first of all. He's doing it. He shoots the fan out, and like they all move the fan and like get out or whatever. Meanwhile, the water has filled the room so much. So I have a mush mouth today. So much that Sharkman Paul can swim into the room and like comes after William Forsythe, but he just shoots at him. I have to say, Paul Sharkman gets shot a lot of times, and he is pretty resilient.
Yeah, that's
he like almost can. He can almost not be stopped.
that shark DNA cures bullets, also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you're aware, sharks are bulletproof.
I thought that was the human part of him, so that's my bad. Yeah, they all escape. Then they emerge on the roof somehow. So I don't understand the schematics of this compound, but they're on the roof, and William Forsythe takes everyone's shirts to tie them into a rope so that they can escape. Jeffrey Combs is like, okay, don't worry, let them escape, because I want Paul to hunt everybody. Like, this is what he's been training for, and also I want him to have sex with Amelia, so that's fine. So when William Forsythe shot at Paul the Sharkman, there was like a tracker in him that gets like destroyed, so they can't track where he is anymore. And I don't know, there's some other dudes that are like under the water trying to fix a fence or something, and Paul eats both of them. To his credit, he does kill a lot of people in this.
I mean, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like a lot of these movies, it's like almost nobody dies. Except for Shark Attack 3, when the shark was eating whole boats full of people.
Swallows everybody completely.
Yeah. So they're all run through the woods at this point. There's a scene where Fetter's like girlfriend is like, oh, I hate it out here. My shoes are ruined and my hair is ruined. And she like falls into some water and she goes, help me, I'm in the swamp. And I don't know why, but that made me laugh really hard. And there's just like splash cam. There's like a camera in the water, and they're like, and Jane is like one of the girls that's with them is like, shark, but like there's no shark actually there. So it was such a baffling scene. I don't really know. They're like, get away from the water. So they make it to the shore, and they see that there's a boat out in the water, and Fetter is like, okay, why don't we just bribe the captain to like take us out of the island? I have more money than Jeffrey Combs does. So the dudes like swim out to the boat, and they get out, and the one guy is like, hey, captain, we need your help. That guy's trying to kill us. But then William Forsythe just, like, pops up and starts, like, fighting them instead of, like, waiting to see if, like, maybe they can just, like, bribe the captain or whatever. So they're, like, fighting all the guys on the boat. And the guards on like, the dock are shooting at them also. And they end up shooting the boat so much that it sets on fire and then explodes. There's so many explosions in this movie.
Boats should have more
There's
shark DNA in
so
it.
many.
They're the
Agreed.
worst explosions, too.
They're, especially the one at the end.
It's so funny, the one at
worst.
the end.
Of course, the Sharkman is there. And he's coming at him. The boat explodes, so the three guys are, like, swimming back to shore. Sharkman catches up with one of them and is, like, biting him and stuff. William Forsythe has jumped into the water again with a harpoon and, like, starts stabbing at Sharkman, who swims away and saves whatever that guy's name is. Meanwhile, Feder and his girlfriend are trying to get a signal on the satellite phone, and everyone else... Oh, so basically, the guy is, like, bleeding out because he got his leg bit a bunch, and they're like, oh, we have to save him, we have to go back to the compound to get medical supplies, and Federer's like, fuck no,
Xerxes
leave
is
that
rubbing
guy
his
out.
face on my microphone.
Aww.
Come on, what are you doing?
Yeah. He's like, I don't want to do that. We're going to go see if we can get service on the phone. Everyone else is going back to the compound to get medical supplies. There's, like, this weird scene where Federer's girlfriend falls and gets, like, wrapped up in vines that can move on their own. So, like, there was this scene during the tour where, like, Jeffrey Combs is like, I'm doing experiments on plants, and, like, the plants can move and stuff, but, like, that's the extent of anything that happens with that. He just, like, picks her up and it's fine. So it's like, was that really necessary? I don't know.
Yeah, it's very, very pivotal to the plot.
Yeah. William Forsythe fights a guard and gets his gun. There's a lot of time spent in the woods, like, punching guards and shit. And I really wonder, they mentioned at the beginning that William Forsythe's character is a IT expert, but, like, for some reason he's, like, highly trained with weapons.
No one has
stuff,
ever
which I
looked
don't...
more like an IT expert than William Forsythe.
Yeah. No explanation as to why he's, like, Rambo in this movie, but so Feder and his girlfriend climb up a cliff, and the guards are, like, in a helicopter, and they're, like, shooting at them and stuff. So both of them get separated, and, like, this is the scene where they show Sharkman just, like glaring. He ends up just eating her and, like, tearing her to pieces, and somebody finds her body pieces later, and it's something looking. Amelia and everyone else finally make it to the compound, and William Forsythe has to hack the door panel to, like, get the door open. You know,
classic IT guy.
So he knows how to do that. And everyone is, like... So the other thing that I don't understand is, like, somehow the Sharkman is everywhere. Like, he's in the deep forest by a cliff eating the fucking girlfriend, and then all of a sudden he's, like, back at the compound where everyone else is. Because they leave the wounded guy, like, on the ledge, and the Sharkman just comes up and, like, yanks him right off the ledge and eats him. And I was like, how did he get there so fast?
There's a lot of like, tubes of water, I assume, going around that island. Jeffrey Combs set up for his son, like a hamster.
He's just got good cardio. Yeah. Oh, that's cute. I like that.
I would be real bummed out if I just saw, like, a human shark go swimming through, like, a fucking hamster tube.
Yeah.
Like, over your head. No, thank you.
Like at the bank, the little air suction tube.
Yeah.
You see him hop in one.
It's like Futurama.
Anger coming out.
No. Jeffrey Combs, meanwhile, is, like, watching every single thing that happens on surveillance cameras that are just everywhere. And so he sends the guards after them. So now it's just William Forsythe, Amelia, and Jane. They are back inside the lab, and this is where they like run into the area that she calls the hatchery, where there's a bunch of shark babies. Varying degrees of cute and horrifying, I would say. She's just looking at a shark baby, and then they like, I don't know why, but they're like in the morgue, and Jane opens one of the like morgue things, and they find like the lady from the beginning who was pregnant, and then that's when they put together like what's going on here, that like Jeffrey Combs is like impregnating women to try and make shark babies. And they're like looking around, and William Forsythe's like, somebody's watching us, hold on a second. And he like throws a towel over the camera so that Jeffrey Combs like can't watch them anymore, and then it's just like, okay, go ahead. So Amelia goes on the computer and finds, like, I don't know why they needed to hide from the camera that she was going to go on the computer, but she basically finds out that, quote unquote, sharks have an issue with nitrogen. So they're going to use that.
Yeah, they go into like a fucking protracted discussion about fucking the bends and what that's
like,
all about.
Essentially, yeah. So the guards start coming, and Amelia and them escape the room by going through another fan in the wall. And one of the guards comes in, and he is caught by William Forsythe's booby trap, which is that there was a beaker on top of the door, and when he pushed it open, the beaker fell and caused an explosion somehow. Cash.
Sure.
Amelia, William Forsythe, and Jane are outside again, and Amelia now has a map somehow. And basically they're like, okay, there's helicopter pads here. Let's go there because maybe we can call for help on a radio. Meanwhile, there's a bunch of guards that find Feder. They capture him. They are all immediately attacked by Paul, who like eats both of the guards, and Feder steals the Jeep. Jeffrey Combs goes on it, just has like a talk where essentially he's talking
out here.
My favorite romantic comedy, Hammerhead Shark Frenzy.
Yeah. Also, he's mad. He doesn't understand why everyone's still alive, because Paul, the shark man, should be like the optimal like predator, and he should have been able to kill them by now, essentially. Then the female scientist, they're like still doing experiments on people. She basically is like, I'm not helping you anymore. I came here for science, not for your personal revenge. So she leaves. Amelia and I just thought the scene was so weird. Amelia and Jane are like, oh yeah, water, and like pick these huge leaves off the ground and drink water out of them. It just seems so unnecessary. They see Feder, who stole the Jeep. He drives by them, and then they call out to him, and he immediately crashes into like the only tree in the area. And I don't understand why this happens, because then they're like talking about how he can fly airplanes, but apparently he doesn't know how to drive a car.
Same.
And I just like don't understand why this scene is in here. Anyways, he crashes and he's like fucked up or whatever. The female scientist catches up to them and is basically just like, I want to help you. Jeffrey Combs is like a crazy murderer. He's not a scientist anymore, and like I don't want to help him anymore. So let me help. And they're like, okay. But then a helicopter full of guards shows up and starts shooting at them. And basically the female scientist immediately falls off a cliff into the ocean and is eaten by Paul. Jane So they like run away from the helicopter. They're walking through the forest. Jane is suddenly covered in welts that she says are burning her. So she runs into the water to like, I don't know, put water on her welts, and then Paul comes and immediately eats her also. It's just so ridiculous. How is he in the ocean off a cliff and all of a sudden he's like in a wood stream? I just don't understand.
Told you, hamster tunnels.
Sharks can teleport.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's in their DNA.
Jeffrey Combs ain't fucking around. You think he's not making a teleporting shark?
I would expect nothing less from Jeffrey Combs.
That's what that big microscope gets you.
Teleportation. Jeffrey Combs tells the guards that they need to bring Paul in because he's been out too long and he needs his treatment or whatever. So the assistant, who is the guy that got his fingers chomped off in the beginning, goes out and is chumming the water to try and find Paul. Paul pops up and immediately eats him, and also eats a guard. So he is a hungry boy.
Same.
Meanwhile, like William Forsythe and all of them are like punching and throwing knives. Like he literally like throws a knife through the air at a guard and like hits him in the back and he dies. I'm like, how does he have this training? I'm so confused. Meanwhile, Feder, who literally says he's got like military experience, is like not doing shit. I don't know. Yeah, so they just like take a bunch of guards down for a while. Basically, Jeffrey Combs is proud of Paul for having stayed out of like the lab for so long, and also he's excited because when he killed the assistant, he did it with his hands like a human and not like a shark. So I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but he's excited about it.
It's important to be excited about your work.
I mean, it's true.
They say,
be proud of your accomplishments.
If you just do what you like for a living, you won't work a day in your life. And it sounds like that's what Jeffrey Combs is doing.
Yeah, honestly. So, let's see. We're back at, like, William Forsythe just, like, shooting and blowing up a bunch of guys, like, forever.
Shooting and blowing.
Those are the things he's good at. There's also, like, a lot of boat stuff going on. Like, guys in boats are, like, coming and those are blowing up too or whatever. Anyways, they eventually reach the helicopter pad. There's a helicopter there. And they basically have to, like, shoot their way to get to it. And there's more explosions. The scene goes on for, like, ever. Feder and Amelia get in the helicopter. And he starts it. And then Amelia starts flat fighting with him because it wants to take off before William Forsythe can get to the helicopter. So he's, like, running around shooting guys and, like, doing flips and shit. And they're just, like, having a flat fight in the front of the, like, helicopter or whatever. And finally he just makes it. So he gets in and they, like, start to fly away. But then there's another helicopter who starts shooting at them. And now their helicopter is on fire. And so they manage to jump out of it right as that blows up. And then they're unconscious now. So the guards, like, come and take them, essentially. Well, he comes and takes Feder and Amelia. William Forsythe escapes into the jungle. And so, like, while the rest of this movie is happening, it kind of, like, switches back and forth between them. And so at this point, William Forsythe escapes, finds another boat, and is, like, searching it for weapons. And there's, like, a huge, what's it called? There's, like, a huge cornflakes box that's just, like, sitting in the middle of it, and I was just, like, couldn't stop staring at it.
I somehow did not notice that.
Product placement.
Look, sharks like cornflakes.
Yeah.
He can't do all that cardio if he's eating fucking Fruity Pebbles.
Part of the balance.
Gotta be corn.
Gotta be cornin'.
Flaked corn.
Yum. They're great. Wait, that's not okay. Okay, so basically Jeffrey Combs has Feder and Amelia captured now, and he's basically just saying, like, that Amelia is going to be a mother. He's basically like, you should be happy. I'm so jealous of you because you're about to, like, enter a new era, and you're going to be the Eve. You're going to be the mother to a new species and, like, all this stuff. And basically he's like, I don't know, talking about how, like, the reason that the other babies that Paul Sharkman made with the girls, like, didn't work out is because of, like, some kind of pheromone level or something. But because Paul was already attracted to her in real life, like, hopefully he'll just, like, he'll just be into it.
I have a lot of questions about the way this breeding thing is supposed to work.
I don't have any answers.
I hope there's a documentary.
Yeah.
Maybe the ways maybe I was wrong. Maybe the ways that he's also a human is that he's got arms and legs and then also a penis. Because I don't.
Well, no, but, like,
I have no idea.
They put her in that fucking weird tube that's just, I don't know, 8 feet above the water.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of questions about how that's supposed to work.
I don't know, because also she's, like, strapped into it, so it's, like, her arms, and there's, like, a strap across her stomach, and then, like, her legs are strapped up. So I'm like... I
need the porn version of this movie. Hammerhead, sex frenzy.
Hammer dick.
Dick frenzy.
His dick just looks like the hammerhead shark.
Yeah.
2 heads, but they're split off.
So yeah. He is like, oh, so the other thing is that, like, the reason he thinks that Paul hasn't been mating with the women is because his bloodlust is too high. So in order to kind of get rid of the bloodlust, even though he's killed, like, 12 people at this point, he feeds Feder to Paul to calm him before the sex. So that happens, and yeah, so Amelia is, like, in this plastic tube where she is, like, bound to it, and then they start lowering the tube down to the pool of water. The pool of water is literally like a bathtub that Paul is in, and it's, like, really funny because in these, like, shots, it's just, like, the dummy puppet that they've made that they just, like, threw in the water. It's just, like, floating there, and it looks so funny. So yeah, they're raising the tube, and it stops above the pool. So yeah, no idea how that's supposed to work. But this is when Jeffrey Combs says that he's envious of her because, like, he basically wants to be a shark person, but now that everyone else is dead, like, no one would be able to, like, help him transition, so he's just going to stay a human. And then he injects her with something and puts an oxygen mask over her. So I guess maybe they were going to continue to lower her into the water, but, like, that doesn't happen because Paul Sharkman jumps out of the water and attacks Jeffrey Combs, ripping his arm off. And then another guard runs up. Paul also eats him. They're, like, standing back, like, shooting at him in the pool or whatever. And then William Forsythe comes in, and he has, I don't know what this device is, but he's got, I guess, just, like, a tank of hydrogen on his back that he is squirting into Paul's mouth. That just looks like chemicals or something.
Yeah, it's a hydrogen gun.
But Paul is like, blah, 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 just, like, standing there with his mouth open, getting, like, shot in the mouth with this, like, shower head of hydrogen. And eventually Paul literally explodes.
I feel like Paul
Hell
forgets
yeah.
that he's a shark and can like bite that gun in half. And
Do anything.
Or
He
move.
just literally stands there and
just
like
get
takes
in the
it.
water so he can't get sprayed in the
Yeah.
mouth.
Should have hopped in the
Yeah.
tube.
Or he could have done anything, but he just stands there. And well, that's why I'm wondering, like, literally do not allude or talk about at all if he has human emotion. Like, Jeffrey Combs has this whole thing where he talks about how scent can make you remember things, and he's like, I remember cutting grass with my papa. And so he's like, I'm hoping that your smell will like trigger his memory of you, and then that's why he wants to hammerhead dick shark you or whatever. But they don't ever talk about like, oh, he's still sentient and like he doesn't want to hurt her and that's why he attacks Jeffrey Combs, or like we don't get any of that like dialogue at all. So I have no idea why. Like maybe he wanted to die. I have no idea. Anyways, he explodes also.
He knew what the world was about to look like.
Yeah. And surprisingly, this is not the end of the explosion. So basically, William Forsythe and Amelia are going to destroy like the whole lab and burn it down or whatever. So Amelia goes to the hatchery to shoot and kill all of the baby sharks. And while she's standing in the doorway, just like point blank shooting all of these with perfect aim for some reason, Jeffrey Combs shows up behind her and is like, I can't let you do that. But then William Forsythe comes up behind him and shoots him and then says, like father, like son. What the fuck does that mean?
Dead.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I remember like when that happened, I was just kind of like, alright, sick burn, I guess.
Like, let's say we're assuming that he's talking about the fact that he's killed both of them. He killed the son first, so that's why this wording is confusing. And also, I feel that's a little insensitive, considering as Paul was Amelia's like ex-fiance that she thought was dead, and then found out he was a shark. So, I don't know. Anyways, they basically shoot the lab up. They pour gas all over the place or whatever, and they run out just as it explodes behind them. And this particular explosion is just
it's perfect.
A masterpiece. It looks, I don't have words for how bad it looks. There's also like sparkles going on in the background. It looks very, very crazy. So yeah, they slow-mo away from the explosion. Then there's a scene of them, Amelia and William Forsythe, just walking on the beach. They look at each other and hug. And for the second time, William Forsythe says, I love you. And she does not reply. And then we just see an undershot of the water with some like creepy music. But that's the end. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's perfect cinema.
Well,
I think I found an erotic novel called Sharkman.
I'll read it.
Wow. I'll read it. The Legend of Sharkman Beyond. Whoa.
There's a lot of upsetting imagery I'm finding when you just look up Sharkman on Google.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, apparently there's a comic book called Sharkman that I'm also going to read.
All right. Oh, he's got a skateboard. See, again, though, this is like a great white. Where's the Hammerhead rep?
What is I don't know why. I'll send you guys the screenshot. This is one of the images that comes up under the actual Sharkman movie on IMDb. I don't know who put this under it, but it is will probably make a better movie.
Okay.
With this extremely cool cartoon.
Little Muppet Sharkman.
This little like CGI Muppet.
Fuck? Why is it Finn there?
That's where fins go.
Again, great white. Jeffrey Combs spends so much time talking about why hammerhead sharks are the best sharks in the whole world.
I don't think anybody at Sci-Fi that makes these shark movies knows what a shark... I think they just assume all breeds of shark look like a great white shark. Also,
Yeah.
just wait till next week's movie.
Oh my god.
Where
Oh,
they just steal footage of about 13 different sharks and just use it as the same great white shark.
the same shark.
Hell yeah.
I cannot wait to be infuriated.
It rules. It's the best movie ever made. Alright, Sharkman rules. Go watch it. It's on streaming sites depending on which thing you're looking at for Sharkman or Hammerhead Shark Frenzy.
Yeah.
It's at least on Tubi.
Good luck. I was like having connection issues, and my Tubi kicked me out. And if you're not logged in, it doesn't like save your progress. So I had to keep like restarting Tubi, and like every single time I could not remember if it was under Sharkman or Hammerhead, and it was doing this stupid thing where the search wasn't working. So I typed in Sharkman, and the movie that came up, one movie, it was like a Christmas movie, and I was like,
Christmas with the Sharkmans.
Is there a Sharkman in this? Or, like, what's going on here? Infuriating. So, yeah, if you can find it, good for you.
Good job, you dummies. You found it.
Yeah.
Any news?
Yeah, I have a few notes. I saw that they just announced a new Batman animated movie that is coming out of HBO Max Latin America that is called Batman Azteca Clash of Empires, which will take place in Mexico. And I only saw one screen grab for it, which was of the actual Batman design, and it looks super cool. So it's essentially like Batman's story, except it takes place in like ancient Mexico. So
I'm in.
Could be pretty cool. Yeah. Bruce Campbell is writing his own horror comic for DC called Sergeant Rock versus Army of the Dead.
That's interesting.
I'm pretty sure I wrote Sergeant Rock. I hope that's right. Who is I don't know anything about this character, but apparently is a character already,
Yeah,
and so he'll be writing it.
If you could, there's like I think it's part of if you watch it on HBO Max, the Death in the Family animated thing. Since it's a short, they play like 3 or 4 DC shorts after it, and one of them's Sergeant Rock, and it's pretty interesting. It's got like monsters and shit in it.
Okay, so he's going to be writing that. The first issue of it's going to be out at the end of September. I didn't see how long it was going to be or anything like that, but good for him. I saw that, so I don't know what this event was, but there was a lot of news about Netflix because there was some kind of like geek out panel at something where Netflix like announced a bunch of stuff, and there was like a bunch of other announcements. But they announced that they're doing a Junji Ito anime anthology, and I have no idea how this is going to be different than the series that's like already out, but this one's going to be called Junji Ito Maniac, Japanese Tales of the Macabre, and it's going to adapt 20 of his stories. I assume they're just going to be 20 stories that have not been adapted before, but I don't know. I mean, I'll watch it, of course. And then Netflix also announced another Castlevania anime called Castlevania Nocturne. I hated the first one so much, but I might check it out because Richter is going to be the main character, and I love him.
I only watched the first season. I liked the first season, but I never went back to it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think I just like the way they like the animation style with like the violence in it. I don't know if I could care less about the story, but
yeah, the animation I thought was really nice, but overall I really hated it and thought it was terrible. But I know that a lot of people who aren't really into anime or haven't watched a lot of anime really liked it, and so I like love that for like other people. So I don't know. We'll see.
Ghostface takes New York is the story.
No
Takes
thanks.
Manhattan.
I don't think so. I don't think he does. I don't understand what's going on with this at all. Why?
I'm so tired of everyone being like, I'm not watching this movie because Dev Campbell's not in it. I'm like, yeah, you are. You're gonna watch the shit out of this. And
You are, because right now they're going to be like, stupid, but then as it gets closer, all of their content is just going to be fucking Scream 6.
the last one was terrible, so honestly, the
Yeah.
last four were terrible. That's my stance.
Okay.
I like the first one. Then it's all diminishing returns for me. I feel like there was something else. Who didn't somebody? Oh, Lieutenant Bookman from Seinfeld died.
R.I.P. Philip Baker Hall.
That's right. Yeah, I couldn't remember his full name. I knew it was Philip something. What a king!
What a king! I love him.
Yeah, he's so good in like everything he pops up in. It's just like I don't know if he's ever done anything where he was like a main actor in a movie.
Dude, he's one of those guys that just like pops up and just like
Steals a scene. And
the movie's his now.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, yeah, that's a Philip Baker Hall movie.
That he's so good in that episode of Seinfeld. It rules.
Incredible.
Yeah, pour one out. I didn't know he was in the. Who was he in the Amityville remake?
I don't know.
He had to have been the priest or something, right? Yeah, Father
It's like
Calloway.
super deadpan priest.
I would say I feel like if there was anybody of his age in it, had to have been the priest. All right. But Katie, what'd you watch this week?
Well, we finally finished Gotham.
R.I.P. to a real one.
What a what a wild ride. I have to say, the last season was total trash, but the series finale, even though it was canceled and it was only like a half episode, like at least was an ending. It wasn't just like a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I think
actually,
they knew they were like that was their last season.
Yeah.
They were doing it.
Yeah. Because I think what they tried to do for like I don't know. The last season was just like a hot fucking mess. It was not great. But overall, I have to say that even though I was like talking shit about it for a while, like I look back on it kind of fondly. And I think my favorite thing to get out of it is that I just like ship Riddler and Penguin so hard, and I'm glad that they're boyfriends. So, I don't know. I don't know that I would say, yeah, definitely everyone should watch it, but like we had fun watching it. So we finished that. We, for whatever reason, decided to start watching the Mission Impossible movies, even though I had to watch that, whatever that guy with the arms movie so many times.
There you.
I fell asleep like 20 minutes into the first one, so I will not rate that one.
I remember seeing the first one when it like originally came out, and granted I haven't seen it since, but I hated it, and it's what made me not like immediately just write off the whole franchise until we watched Fallout.
Right.
That first one I remember just being so boring.
Well, it's definitely a lot different than the other ones, because then we watched the second one, and that is a hot piece of trash.
Wow. Unbelievable. I'm quitting the podcast.
It was not great. I felt that they were like, this movie isn't enough like James Bond, so we need to make it more like James Bond. And there was just like the ripping off of the faces and whatnot. I was just like, whatever. So then we were going to watch Mission Impossible 3, but it wasn't free anywhere. So instead we watched the newest ? James Bond movie. No Time to Die, which I also did not care for.
I don't know if I've seen that one yet. I've only watched 2 of them with Caitlin, but I can't remember which ones they were. I think one was Skyfall, and then the other one is the one where he gets his fucking balls hit a bunch. That one rules.
This one, it was like, as I've said many times, I am not a James Bond or like a spy or like action whatever person at all. And compared to some of the other ones with Daniel Craig, like, I liked them a lot better than this one, and I don't really know why, but it was just like whatever. And then actually that might be it. I did not watch a lot this week.
Just reeling from that Gotham finale.
Yeah.
What about you, Kit?
Went and saw Crimes of the Future. Rules, A+.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that as soon as it's streaming.
So glad Cronenberg's back. Watched The Requiem, or Reckon, I don't know how you pronounce it, it's French. And it doesn't matter how you pronounce it, because it's fucking dog shit. It's the worst shark movie I've ever seen.
That's the Alicia Silverstone one, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and she's completely forgotten how to act. Not that she ever was very good, but Jesus Christ. Atrocious.
What is it?
Embarrassing.
What's it
I felt
about?
bad for her.
Is it like a new movie?
Yeah. It
It was like the
was
last
from,
couple
I think,
years.
this year.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
What is it about?
Well, Alicia Silverstone had a stillbirth, and her husband decided to take her on a vacation to Vietnam to, like, you know, just get away and forget everything. And they went during monsoon season, so the tiny little wooden hut, like, you know, those like vacation places where it's like a wooden walkway and they're little wooden you know, hotel rooms, whatever that you stay in. They're one of those, and the monsoon washes it away, so they're stranded out at sea, and a shark doesn't show up until the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, checks out.
And then which is stupid, because Requiem is French for shark. Well, you're calling your movie The Shark, and shark doesn't even show up, like, till the end? Get out of here. All the effects are incredibly trash. Some of the worst shit I've ever seen. Honestly, it's worth watching to see how much you're gonna hate it.
It's one of those movies that I always like. I'll see it pop up when I'm looking for, like, if I'm like, I'm gonna watch a shark movie. I'll see that, and then I can't think of the title. The one where, like, Blake Lively's in it, where I think she's, like, stranded on, like, a rock or something.
The Shallows?
Yeah, and I'm always like, I feel like I always equate the two in my head, because I've heard The Shallows is, like, relatively good.
The Shallows is pretty fun. I like The Shallows.
And so I'm always like, I can't remember which one of these is supposed to be good, so I'm just going to watch neither of them.
Oh, man, it's brutal. It really is. Me and Layla were like, oh, hey, a new shark movie. Like, let's watch this. This will be good. And just the whole time, like, oh my god, what have we gotten ourselves into?
I feel like, especially when it comes to, like, the, like, sort of bigger budget kind of non-sci-fi or, like, I guess asylum shark movies, like 47 Meters Down might be the only kind of good one recently.
I still haven't watched that one.
I like The Shallows more than I like 47 Meters Down.
Oh, see, I haven't seen that one yet, so I feel like any of the other ones I've watched, like, I guess that, like, went to a theater have just been, like, garbage. Or, because it's all, like, shit like Open Water, where somebody's just fucking, like, stranded somewhere, and it's just, I don't know, sharks are kind of
they're just there.
Yeah, like, I guess a threat, but it's mostly just people being like, how are we going to get out of this situation, instead of getting eaten. Did you watch this?
Didn't really care. There have been a bunch of people that are like, I'm tired of all horror movies being trauma now, this, that, whatever. And, like, I didn't really care about that argument until watching this movie, where I was like, oh, yep, nope. not everything needs to be about trauma. This is fucking awful. Why would you do this?
Yeah.
You don't need to make a shark movie about trauma.
If you're gonna make
at all.
If you're gonna make like a bigger budget shark movie, make it be like the sequel to 47 Meters Down, where it's just people
48 meters down,
constantly being fucking attacked by sharks because like in like a fucking like abandoned Aztec fucking flooded tomb or some shit, whatever it was.
I forgot I had even watched that movie until you said that.
It's terrible, but it's highly entertaining because like they. Like, all the sharks in the first one, if I remember correctly, were, like, CGI. But, like, the CGI in the sequels is so much worse. And it's supposed to be all those, like, blind sharks or whatever. And it's so funny, but, like...
like goblin sharks and shit.
But they at least, like... The sharks are, like, just a fucking huge threat in it. Like, they're just constantly getting attacked
everywhere,
by
all
sharks,
the time.
and it rules. That's what, like, if you're gonna make a shark movie, like, do that. Instead of just being, like... That's the thing I hated about those, like, open water movies, where I'm just, like... They make it seem like sharks are gonna be a big thing, but really all it is they're just kind of around, waiting for these people to die, as you just watch an hour and a half of them floating in water and arguing.
Yeah, no thanks.
Was that it, Kit?
Oh, I saw The Insider also, speaking of Philip Baker Hall.
Oh, yeah, the Michael Mann movie.
Yeah.
Banger.
Shit rules. I wouldn't have expected a movie that's mostly about phone calls about big tobacco to be so good, but it was.
I don't think it's possible for Michael Mann to make a bad movie.
Right?
Yeah.
I haven't watched his alleged bad ones yet, but everything I've seen has been pretty great.
I don't know. Everybody says The Keep is bad, and those people are way wrong.
That's true.
The Keep rules.
Fucking banger.
I watched a bunch of shit that at some point Katie and I are going to do an episode about. The only things I didn't watch, or that I watched that weren't Junesploitation stuff, was I watched about half of the Standout and LGBTQ plus celebration, like a Netflix put out that's just like a bunch of queer stand-ups, and the only thing I remember is Patty Harrison coming out, and like it's so fucking funny. She's the best. She comes out and just starts deadpan, completely serious, talking about how the pandemic has been like hard for her as a creative, and it's supposed to be like a stand-up gig, right? And she comes out and she's like, no, like, you know, it's been really hard, like I'm having trouble writing these jokes, and you know, blah blah blah, and it's like the crowd doesn't know how to take her, and she's like, so you know, I decided to kind of like expand myself a little bit, and I wrote a song about it, and I wrote it in the style of like Stevie Nicks, who's like one of my favorite performers, and then does like this 5-minute song in the worst Stevie Nicks impression ever about how she left her baby out in the sun too long and now it looks like a sweet potato. It's so goddamn funny. It's the funniest shit I think I've ever seen. It's like, if you could like just watch that clip if you don't want to watch the entire special, it's so fucking funny. And then I watched all of the Poltergeist movies. I gotta say, not great.
Why?
I'd only ever seen the first one, and I'd never seen any of the sequels or the remake, and
I like 2.
2's fine. It's not great, but
Craig T. Nelson pukes up a big old dick, and that rules.
Compared to 3 in the remake, it's a masterpiece.
3 is awful. I have not watched the remake.
The remake is one of the worst things I think I've ever watched. It's, as far as remakes go, it might be one of the worst remakes ever made. And then the last thing was Fire Island, which is Caitlin's new favorite movie. So I watched it with her, and it's fine. Like, it's like a like gay romantic comedy written by Joel Kim Booster and Bowen Yang. I don't know. It's fine. Like, it's, you know, as far as the romantic comedies go, it works. It was just, you know, not my preferred genre of movie. There's some funny stuff in it. That's on Hulu if people are interested. Alright, shout outs. Katie, when are you going to go see Jurassic World Dominion?
Oh, I'm not.
I need to know if it's as bad as everyone's saying it is.
First of all, whatever the last one was, like the original Jurassic World, I liked
Jurassic World Dominoes.
The original Jurassic World, I liked a lot. I thought it was like a really good, like, modern remake. The second movie was probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I feel like I want my time back from watching it. Like, that's how bad it was. I didn't think it was fun at all. And so if I watch the new one, it will be for free streaming on something. And I don't appreciate them trying to rope me into it by having, like, Ellie and Grant and Malcolm in it or whatever. Like, I don't appreciate it.
You don't want to hear Laura Dern say he slid into my DMs?
Ew. No, I don't. I do not. So I will definitely not be going to see that.
I haven't seen any of the Jurassic World ones because they just kind of looked like they weren't going to be great from the get-go.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first one is fine. Like, I think that's worth watching.
Well, all of them. Get them out of here.
The only thing, like,
more Sharkman.
I listened to a podcast where someone was, like, kind of talking about, like, the when they kind of do the T-Rex reveal towards the end of the first one, and that sounded cool, and that was about it. That was the only thing that I was like, maybe I'll watch this at some point, and then I was like, I'm never watching this.
I mean, it is what it is. Unless you're, like, super into Jurassic Park, I don't know that Jurassic World has anything to offer you, like, specifically. I still liked it. I did see it in the theater, and I liked it, and it's like, whatever, though. Yeah. So, what's my shout out? I always, like, forget. I haven't really been doing anything.
Shout out Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
No. Shout out to I assume we all got our copies of the novelization of the Manborg movie, and I haven't started reading it yet, but I was flipping through it, and I'm, like, so excited, and the cover is awesome, and so I recommend that, probably.
Yeah, we'll pick a day that we feel like we could all get it read by, and we'll do an episode on it. So we'll get this fucking
so excited
cabbage versus garbage debate settled for once and for all. Then everybody remembers that episode from like 2 years ago or whatever.
It'll be life altering when we find out, I think.
Kit, what's your shout out?
To Mold.
I do. I was gonna say I guarantee I know what Kit's shout out is.
I was so excited riding the subway when they dropped it.
I just told Layla, shut up, I got something to listen to.
Screaming at all of the people on it.
Was it a surprise release?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, more bands should do that.
Agreed.
Instead of being like, here's a pre-order that comes out in 9 months.
Yeah, it's like a delightful little treat.
God, I don't even know what my shout out is. What have I been doing lately?
Building a Gundam.
I don't know how to build anything. I'm just building a Gundam out of Legos. It's just gonna fucking fall apart.
That's probably good enough.
Knowledge Fight. Go listen to... Knowledge Fight's been doing a fucking good job of, like, their following fucking Alex Jones' dumbass response to the fucking Texas shooting, so... Go listen to those, where Alex Jones took about a week before he called it a false flag while he's currently getting fucking... about to go bankrupt from calling Sandy Hook a false flag, so... Not...
That's pretty shocking. It took him a whole week.
Yeah, because he knows he's
gonna get sued.
But like the thing they talk about it and that's funny is like this is the one time where everything in this was handled so badly that he could have gotten away with calling it a false flag from the beginning.
Right.
And he didn't. And they were just like, he literally just tried to actually do the news and still fucked it up, like, tremendously. If you've never listened to them, go listen to their Sandy Hook deposition episodes. They're fucking incredible. They're so good. You can listen to Alex Jones have to fucking go through like 6 hours of deposition and be real bad at it. Gotta say, not very good at answering questions. All right, next week we're finally doing Cruel Jaws. Perfect movie.
Oh yeah.
I am very excited for Katie to fucking hate it. It's currently on Tubi, I believe. It'll probably never leave Tubi. The fuck is Frankenfish? Why haven't we done this yet?
Oh, it's awful. I've seen it before, and then I watched it the other night. Just on a whim. It's fucking boring.
That's unfortunate. Why are you gonna make this shit?
I know.
Like, don't make it boring. What the hell is Snakehead Terror? This is all, man.
Snakehead Terror rocks.
That's a fucking.
I'm down to do Snakehead Terror at any time.
Some real good similar films to Cruel Jaws under this list. Tentacles, Jaws the Revenge, Shark Attack 3, Frankenfish, apparently not good.
It's really the outlier there.
I mean, Shark Night, Eight-Legged Freaks, Jersey Shore Shark Attack, Snakes on a Plane.
Banger after banger, and then also Frankenfish.
Also Sharknado, because, of course. Like, just because a fucking movie has a shark in it doesn't mean it has to be related to Sharknado. Like, this fucking makes me mad. I'm mad those Sharknado movies exist. I've never watched any of them. I'm not going to.
Yeah, the first one was enough for me, honestly.
Alright, Cruel Jaws next week. You can support us by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/IHopeYouSufferPodcast. There's episodes on there you can listen to. If not, don't listen to them. Just give us money.
Yeah, buy us a shark.
Yeah, we're trying to buy a fucking Sharkman over here, and I gotta say, it's not going well. We need your support.
Yeah.
Don't make us start hawking dick pills to get a Sharkman.
Listen, it costs a lot of money to make a better microscope, so we need your help.
We need the best microscope we could get. Make sure this Sharkman is horny enough to impregnate somebody.
Yeah.
My review on Letterboxd is imagine not wanting to be bred by Jeffrey Combs.
Wow.
The only takeaway from that movie. You can get merch at our Store Frontier shop. Leave us a rating on Spotify and a rating and review on iTunes. Tell us if you want to get bred by Jeffrey Combs, and if your answer is no, stop listening to us.
He does have his good mustache in this one,
I saw
too. His good mustache and his weird
someone
sunglasses.
be like, he has a John Waters mustache, and I was like, no, he doesn't. He just has a mustache.
He has a Jeffrey Combs mustache? Yeah. Excuse you.
A Combs over.
Katie, make a shirt with Jeffrey Combs with a comb-over mustache.
Oh my god, I don't even know what that means.
You can follow us on Instagram at I Hope You Suffer Podcast. Follow Kit at Kitrification of Blood. You can figure out how to spell all that. Let's follow Kit at Tomb Mold.
Yeah.
Like, pretty much.
Kit Mold. That doesn't work either. Moldy Kit. Follow at Moldy Kit.
Yeah, there it is.
Follow Katie at Werewolf Face and go subscribe to her Patreon at patreon.com/werewolfface. You listen to my other podcast named K Movie Club. Pre-game our Cruel Jaws episode. Listen to Caitlin and I watch Cruel Jaws for the first time. Which I had.
Wait, it was your first time too?
Yeah, I blind bought it from Severin, and we were trying to figure out like what to watch for an episode. I was like, let's watch whatever this shark movie is, and I was baffled. But now it's like my favorite movie. It rules. I can't wait to finally cover it on here. Talk about Hulk Hogan's fucking doppelganger.
Amazing.
Oh man.
What a fucking perfect movie. So yeah, Cruel Jaws next week. I hope you shark but man. It's gotta be
Sharkman.
Hope you Sharkman but Hammerhead.
I hope you Lieutenant
Sick
Sharkman.
Frenzy.
R.I.P.
Lieutenant Sharkman Butts.
Yeah, that's the thing they don't tell you in this movie. His last name was Butts. Paul Butts.
Paul Sharkman Butts.
Paul Blart. Sharkman.
Paul Sharkman Cop.
Paul Blart. Shark Cop.
Love it.
I'd watch that movie.
Me
Let's go,
too.
Kevin James. Get a third one going. Detective of Sharks.
It's just like him, but a shark man on his little Segway.
It's just him, but the Segway is a shark. No explanation.